welcome into the Gaming Discourse. I'm Tyler Frater, alongside Richard De La Cruz, who is not here today, and Chief Engineer, Lieutenant Commander Connor Frater.
Good evening.
It is Monday, March 17th, 2025. Go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/gamingdiscourse, patreon.com/thegamingdiscourse. You can support us for $247, $10. Get your name in the video credits, early access to our videos, access to our Discord server, and more. We have lots of news today. We have lots of games today. We have lots of stuff coming up. March and April, I imagine, are with regards to like big news announcements, are probably going to be quieter months, because then we get the big Jeff Keighley summer games fest bonanza.
Yeah.
In whatever, early June, late May, around there. So I imagine a lot of announcements. Most announcements are probably being saved for then. But okay, so what? So I've been playing some stuff. Have you been playing some stuff? What have you been playing?
So I went back because I hadn't played it yet. I went back and started playing Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Oh, the first one.
Yes.
Okay. Alrighty.
It's good.
Yeah. Hesitation.
I was thinking about what I wanted to say about it. I sent you a song that's about King's Wenceslas.
Oh yeah, I forgot to listen to it. Yeah,
by the band Gnome.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it's appropriate for the game.
Sure.
But yeah, no. Interesting point in history. Jan Hus is a really interesting historical character. If I remember right, Jan Hus predates Martin Luther.
I don't know. By predating Martin Luther, you mean born before, or you mean before Martin Luther threw a fit?
Before he nailed his grievances to a church.
Before he decided to complain and divert human history and all that.
How dare.
Yeah, that was what, early 1400s, right?
I think so, 14, 15.
Yeah, something like that.
And Jan Hus, you've played the game, wasn't a priest. He was a learned man. I learned a doctor, and was just complaining about the church, and got killed for it. So,
as this happens.
Yep. But a very interesting point in history. I'm enjoying seeing the like Bohemian culture and like the humans coming in and like wrecking shop and interactions there. Very fun so far.
Yeah, that's the one thing I would say about KCD2 is it really does immerse you in the history of it all. Mm-hmm. It really does feel real and aware of the world around it. There's a camp of nomads that are Romani people in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. So it's like they're coming from different places in the world. That makes it really interesting. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 reminds me a lot of Pentiment, just because Pentiment might take place like within a few years of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and it's set in a similar, kind of a similar region, like that sort of Eastern European, like Poland, Czechoslovakia, Germany, like that kind of, I don't want to generalize too much, but like that area of the world. And so a lot of the similar themes are going on, but one of the major differences is that Pentiment, I think, deals with much larger themes, because you are talking about Martin Luther, you are talking about the Protestant Reformation and stuff like that. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, you're much more of just sort of a normal person going around doing quests for people and stuff like that. So it's a little more like a everyman caught in a political, like this world. You're kind of a fish in the water, where in Pentiment you're talking about the water itself, kind of. So that's what makes it really interesting. How far did you get in?
I just got to the point where I followed up on the I can't remember the name of the massacre at the stables at the.
Okay, that's near the beginning of the game.
Yeah, I haven't put a ton into it. I've done a lot of side quests actually. But I just got to the point where I'm being sent to scout out the camp for the bandits.
Okay. Alrighty. Yeah. I've continued playing the second one. I think one day I may try and go back and play the first one. But the second one continues to be really good. It's just it can be really difficult. And there's just a lot of stuff to manage, from Henry's like sleeping to how much you eat to you have a companion dog with you and you have to feed your dog and stuff like that. So there's like a lot to consider while you're running around doing stuff. All your equipment breaks down. I need to get a fucking horse soon because all of my shoes just get destroyed because I'm walking around so much. So I have to keep fixing my shoes or killing bandits and taking their shoes because I don't have enough money to fix my shoes or something. I haven't even found a cobbler yet. And I could look one up, but the thing is like to do anything in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, you have to have I don't know why medieval people did it like this, but everybody had incredibly specific jobs. It's incredibly annoying, right? It's like a shepherd deals with sheep, right? And if a goat walks in, he's like, I don't know what that is. He can only take care of one animal, and that's it.
Yeah, he's not
right?
a goat herder. He's a sheep herder.
Exactly. The blacksmith is like, I make swords. That's what I do. And I'm like, okay, can you fix this hem on my shirt? I've never seen a shirt before in my life. And so it's like, you got to go to the tailor to do that. You go to the tailor and you're like, hey, can you just sew up these shoes for me? And he's like, I have no idea what a shoe is. Shirt is my life. And so that's like everybody has horribly specific jobs. And
so would you expect to walk into a mechanic shop and be like, hey, fix my PC? And then be like, all right, just let me get on that real quick.
I would. We live in modern times.
Well, tough shit. They're not going to do it.
I think there's a difference between asking. The point I'm trying to make here is that there's a lot of really specific things. Like in one town, there's a place where you can clean you have to do laundry, dirt and blood get on your clothes. Usually it's pretty easy to clean, but if they get dirty enough, you have to actually wash them. Go
to a bath. You
have to launder them. So to do that, there has to be a spot for that. There has to be a pond or something. Not every town has a pond, so I have to go over to a town that has a pond to clean my clothes and all that. So there's lots of inventory, not just inventory management in the sense of like removing things from my inventory and destroying things or whatever. Also just managing my armor and stuff like that. Anyway, earlier today, I played for a little bit and I got into a fight and I died and it was just really annoying because I lost like 15-20 minutes of gameplay because you have to save on your own, and I'm just not good at the combat yet, and it's partially because I don't know, it's like you don't get a whole lot of opportunities to like fight guys with shields. If I fight a guy and he has a sword, a bandit with a sword, I'm fine. But like dudes with shields, it's a completely different thing, and you kind of have to be really measured, and so you don't get an opportunity to practice a whole lot, right? And the combat is really deep, and there's a bunch of little tiny like mini game things in the combat that you have to learn, but there's no easy way to learn it. There's a guy you can practice against, but when you take health damage, that health damage stays with you. So if I decide to do that one day, I basically can't do anything else because I'm at half health, which means I either have to drink a bunch of potions, waste a bunch of potions to get my health up, or go back to town and do boring stuff and sleep and get my health back. I can't like go there and practice and then the game abstracts it and goes, because it was practice, you get your health back. It's like, no, now you're at 50% health. So it's like, okay, well, I'm not, because reducing your health also reduces your stamina.
Yeah.
So don't get me wrong, it's a really good game. I think I'm just a little annoyed because I'm like, God damn it, I lost to these dudes in shields, and like I'm hitting them, but I'm not doing a whole lot of damage, and I'm trying to figure out why, and it's really difficult. And then I died, and I just got a little salty. But I am enjoying the game a lot. One thing I appreciate about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is I feel like, and maybe this is a topic we can discuss later, like or maybe next week. Maybe it's a good topic for when Richard comes back. But like, what makes a good RPG? And I think one thing that makes a good RPG is something where your character really does get more powerful. Not just powerful in the sense that you have more abilities, but I think like a substantial, like in God of War, you get new abilities and you become more powerful, but that progression doesn't feel the same as like the sort of super
New Vegas
technical, like where you're not only powerful, you're also powerful in a specific way.
Yeah.
In a role that you play.
In a game.
Sorry, you're gonna say something.
So if you wanna start like practicing and getting good at combat, Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlords has the exact same combat system.
Is it as good?
It's not as in depth,
Okay.
but it will, because I've played a shit ton of Mountain Blade 2 Mountain Blade Warband and Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlords.
Yeah.
I've played a fuck ton of those games.
Yeah, I know.
And I am taking to this combat system like a duck to water. It is second nature because it is a little bit more advanced.
Yeah.
And the a little bit more advanced is the timing for like the perfect block that you can get, and the dodging where like it slows down time for a second. That's the enhanced version that is in Kingdom Come Deliverance. If you just want that directional fighting and having to block directionally, start in Bannerlords and just load up skirmishes and just keep doing that, and just it sounds like I'm joking, but it's...
No, I remember that. And I would like to hop back into Bannerlords 2 one day, because I imagine the game is much improved since launch.
Mm-hmm.
Does it have Steam Workshop capability?
Yes.
Yeah, so I imagine there's all kinds of cool mods and lots of fun stuff.
I think so. I know there's a Nexus mods for it, but I think there's a Steam Workshop.
And that's one of those games that it's like that, or what's the RTS that I played? Eastern Front, World War II, Call to Arms or something like that. I don't
Minute
remember.
War?
It's similar to Minute War. It's a similar game, but the idea is it's like you can do third person combat and RTS, and it's really granular. Every soldier has a inventory. The point I'm trying to make here is it's one of those games that's like really ambitious and simulatory.
Yeah.
Right. And tries to do a lot of different things. And I haven't tried Bannerlords out in a long time, but there's a lot of games I'm playing right now. I also played a little bit of Black Myth Wukong. I played a little bit of Split Fiction with Hazel, and that was a lot of fun. So I'm excited to get back into Split Fiction. I don't have a ton to say about it right now. And then playing more of Avowed as well. Avowed, I still like Avowed a lot. I think it's good. I'm surprised at the lukewarm response, because to me it's better than Outer Worlds, I think. I don't know. I think the combat's better. Outer Worlds, I played through Outer Worlds for the characters and the story. But the combat was just really shoot everything in the face and you're fine. Avowed, I'm playing on the hardest difficulty. The combat, when it's good, it's really, really good. And the story is really interesting because it has to deal with the living lands and colonialism and imperialism and all these, super heavy themes. But one thing I will say that I'm not a huge fan of in Avowed is that the progression is gear-based. So like your weapons have tiers, and you can upgrade these weapons. So like a common wand can become a exceptional wand or whatever. I don't remember the names. And you just have to use resources to upgrade it. But like you will find an enemy that is a uncommon enemy, and if you have a common wand, you're not gonna be doing a whole lot of damage, right? So that's a very looter shooter type way of doing combat, right? As opposed to an RPG where it's like level based. That's a level 35 over there, where your stats also sort of come into play. So it feels like my stats don't matter as much. It feels like just because I was playing Avowed a lot this weekend and I was dying a lot. And so I was like, okay, I need to stop and I need to just go upgrade my gear. Upgraded my gear, things got much easier. So instead of like needing a upgrade to my stats or anything like that, it was just I just had to
farm resources.
I just had to farm.
Your gear.
Yeah, and farming the resources wasn't that difficult, but I just had to upgrade my gear, and so I was just it kind of made the RPG mechanics feel a little less important, because all I did was upgrade my wand a few times and all of a sudden everything was okay. So I don't know. That's something I have mixed feelings about, but I'm still really enjoying Avowed. Giada is I think there's 4 companions. Giada is the third one. You unlock your companions fairly late. Like I'm 30-ish hours in Avowed and I just got my 3rd companion, and there's another companion out there somewhere. So, like, I haven't even unlocked all the companions yet, and I really like them. They all have different perspectives. They all have different, really distinct personalities. Kai is...
Garrus.
Essentially. But he has sort of I don't know about a checkered past, but he's kind of been a drifter. He was in the Deadfire as a pirate. You're kind of aware that maybe some things he did in his past weren't all above board, but he's not a bad guy. He's a little bit of a scoundrel. And then there's Marius, who is a dwarf, and Marius is a guy that's usually on his own. He's like a survival type guy who's out in the wilderness all the time. He's kind of a
Bear Grylls type.
Sure. No, I was trying to think, what's the name for a person? A hermit. Kind of a hermit.
Okay.
And he's kind of prickly. He doesn't like other people, and he doesn't like getting mixed up in things, but he helps you out anyway. And so him and Kai have interesting banter. And then I met Giada, and Giada is a animancer, right? And so in the Pillars of Eternity world, an animancer is a person who studies and does experiments with magic that has to deal with souls. Because in Pillars of Eternity, souls are a real thing that go through the pillars, the crystals, and that's how
the
Great Wheel turns, and and reincarnation happens and all that. And Giada is interesting because she's really passionate about animancy and trying to figure things out. And at first it seems like she's going to be someone who's kind of inhospitable, but she actually ends up becoming, you find out, someone who's actually really nice, and she has a bit of a tragic backstory. But yeah, anyway, sorry, those are the games that I've been playing. Yeah, but I'm glad that you think you'll stick to Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Oh yeah,
yeah, you're kind of in the mood for it.
Other game I've been playing before we continue on. I started a Rockies franchise.
Nice. Okay.
And then I was like, oh yeah, 25 comes out in 2 days. I'm gonna see what people have to say about 25, and if it's all good stuff, I'll pick it up. If it's like, I'll just keep 24 and just play a Rockies franchise.
Okay. Yeah. I'm tempted as well because I love baseball, and the last baseball game. Yeah, I know. The last baseball game I got was on the Switch, which it's still fine. I actually booted up and did the home run derby the other day, and that was kind of fun. But I am feeling the baseball game itch because there was a summer 2022 where I played a game a day. I was going to see how, and I got into September playing as the Yankees, playing as a game a day, like following the Yankees schedule. And so that was a lot of fun managing that team. I traded for Manny Machado and Juan Soto, funny enough. And so I just had this. Yeah, I've kind of felt that pull as well. And Assassin's Creed Shadows comes out in 3 days as well. That one I'm actually really interested in. But man, I've got so many games I'm juggling right now, and I know it's a bad idea, but once it comes out, if it gets good reviews, I don't know if I'm going to be able to to withstand the temptation or not. But
for
Shadows.
Oh, for Shadows.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, because if it's like that temptation for the show, on Game Pass for Xbox.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it on this year?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it wasn't going to be for some reason.
I thought it was.
Oh, maybe it is. I don't know. We'll Google it right now to make sure. Nobody's. I hate.
MLB The Show Early Access is live with full release coming Tuesday.
Okay, but I don't know if that means Game Pass or not. Isn't on Xbox Game Pass.
Ah.
Okay, so the headlines I'm reading are not on Xbox Game Pass. Thank you for putting that in an easy headline. That's too bad. Were you thinking about just trying it out on Xbox Game Pass?
Yeah.
Once you thought of that? Yeah.
At work.
Oh, nice. I'm going to test this real quick.
Hop in real quick.
Hop in real quick. Just get a quick, 18 innings of QA testing. All right. Well, is there anything else you want to talk about? We get to move on. Do the news.
Henry.
Yeah.
Henry in Kingdom Come Deliverance. Henry fucks a lot.
Really? I don't remember that.
He lays pipe like a journeyman plumber.
I don't remember that. I didn't play very much, but definitely not Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Actually, there's a lot of homoeroticism in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. It's kind of funny at the very beginning because it's just like it's almost like a parody at times because like you go to train.
He's in jorts and they're playing volleyball on the beach
it is very
in San
Top
Diego.
Gun. It is very Top Gun. I'm playing it with the boys, and but there's this scene where you're doing like sword fighting training, right? And you don't have a sword with you, so you jump into the ring, and the guy that you're like, your Henry's friend is like, what are we gonna fight with? Oh, Cox, go get your sword. And it's just very like, this is just laden with subtext. And then after that, you bathe. So at the same time, they're like taking off their armor to go bathe, and I'm just like, okay, this is what is that's that old Billy Connolly joke. What is this? Somebody call a constable. So anyway, okay, we ready to move on? Thanks for listening. If you like our content, please consider subscribing or leaving a like and comment. You can find us at patreon.com/thegamingdiscourse. And our tiers are $2, $4, $7, and $10 and include getting your name in the video credits, early access, and access to our Discord server. Okay, so Bobby Kotick has filed a lawsuit against Geo Media. Watch out, we don't want to be sued either. First reported by Courthouse News, and I first saw it personally reported in Aftermath. Specifically, the suit is about two stories that are related to Kotick's departure from Activision and the California Civil Rights Department's investigation into the company. If you remember, there were a bunch of lawsuits back in 2021, 2022 about the culture at Activision Blizzard. We'll get to the result of that in a second. The suit says that the stories went out of their way to include withdrawn and false allegations relating to workplace issues. Courthouse News says that Kotick and his representatives wrote to Geo Media demanding corrections to the articles, and that both Kotaku and Gizmodo updated their stories after publishing. Despite those updates, Courthouse News says that Kotick claims the stories continue to mischaracterize the settlement that ended California's CRD's lawsuit. The settlement says that no court or independent investigation substantiated any allegations of the defendants, and that the defendants deny all wrongdoing, liability, and damages. So this is really interesting to me for a few reasons. We are in a climate right now, and I guess we have been for a while, where public trust in media institutions is at an all-time low. I have a bunch of thoughts about that because I don't know, to pretend that American media has ever been like a bastion of truth-telling or fairness, or that it hasn't kowtowed to the American government's like foreign policy interests or things like that, is just to not be realistic. To pretend that American media for the past 50 years, up until like 2005 or something, or until Obama's election, was this bastion of journalistic integrity, and then all of a sudden it went downhill in the past 10 years, is untrue and incorrect. I don't know. It frustrates me sometimes when we talk about people's lack of trust in institutions because I don't know. One thing I think it's important to point out is that Fox News had great ratings during the 2000s. It dominated cable news. So it's like we have distrust in our media institutions, and yet a media institution that was known for being a cheerleader for one side of the political spectrum just happened to kill it ratings wise. And why is that? Why would one media institution that clearly had a partisan slant do so well? And at the same time, we're apparently in a media environment where people don't trust media institutions. There's a dissonance there that kind of frustrates me. But I think that's relevant here because this lawsuit is the kind of lawsuit that I think has a chance of succeeding in that kind of environment. I'm not a lawyer, but I do know that defamation cases, I think like this, often need to meet the actual malice standard, right? Part of which means proving that the person that published the stuff, the wrong stuff, the stuff that's being claimed to be false or whatever, they published it knowing that it was untrue, right? So there's two different sort of standards, right? If the New York Times wrote a piece about you, Connor, and they reported false information that smeared your name, you could sue them for defamation and you would not have to meet the actual malice standard because you're not a public figure, at least on the level of like a Bobby Kotick or a CEO or a politician or something like that, right? So you are more protected than the average public figure, like
It's about time.
like Bobby Kotick. But I think in Kotick's case, he would have. I'm not a lawyer. But this is what I'm assuming based on what I know, is that his lawyers in the case would have to prove actual malice, which is usually difficult to prove because publishing something incorrect is not enough. You have to prove that the outlet published it knowing that it was incorrect with the intent to cause harm maliciously, right? So that's why it's called actual malice. I think, one of the reasons that rich and powerful people don't like the actual malice standard is because it makes it difficult to be rich and powerful. It doesn't necessarily make it impossible or take away your wealth or power, but it does just kind of make it sometimes difficult to be rich and powerful. Kotick is somebody who has been known to be litigious and someone who I think has an ego that is just really strange and annoying. And so this kind of lawsuit doesn't necessarily surprise me. I'm not a lawyer. I didn't look at Gizmodo's story, but I looked at Kotaku's story. I did not see it as egregious. If it was published with the intent to harm Kotick, I don't see how it could harm his reputation any more than, I don't know, anything he's ever done with Activision Blizzard, any words he's ever uttered in his life. Maybe he should sue himself.
Maybe you should we'll have like a woman sue him, but he'll like write the lawsuit for her.
yeah. He'll draft it, and then his lawyer, who is a woman, and then she'll get blamed and she'll get harassed on social media.
Exactly.
That's a good idea. That's what Kotick should do. Draft a letter, have your lawyer take the blame for it, and then thank you, Connor. I forgot to bring up the Townsend letter, which I do every time with Kotick, so I appreciate that. That's a staple on the podcast. The person who wrote the story at Kotaku doesn't even work at Kotaku anymore, so it's just like, I don't know. I just don't see this as being something that could really harm Kotick's standing. But of course, it's not always about justice. It's not always about proving actual malice. Sometimes it's just about, I have a lot of money and I'm just going to make it tough for you to do things. I think there's one other angle here. And that's that I doubt GeoMedia cares enough to defend Kotaku. GeoMedia has gutted Kotaku. It's a storyline that people aren't talking about right now. I have a prediction that sometime within the next couple of years, maybe even sooner, maybe like 6 months, Kotaku is either going to shut down or be rendered completely inert. And you were going to have YouTube videos of like people, Kotaku's, like the Gamergate sign. Kotaku's dead. Finally done in. Kotaku destroyed. Kotaku wasn't killed. It was murdered, right? Like all this bullshit. Which nobody's paying attention right now because I have like nuanced opinions about the site based on me reading it for years and years and years. That isn't just reactionary, bullshit. But I could see that happening because GeoMedia, ever since I don't remember the company that it was called before Spanfeller took over. I think they changed the name of it. But Jim Spanfeller, and I don't remember the story exactly, eventually took over GeoMedia. They've done a bunch of damage to like Deadspin and stuff like that. They've experimented with stories written by AI and whatnot. And then obviously you have sites like Aftermath and Defector who were made by people who left those websites to go do different things. And Kotaku and Deadspin had done real good work in the past, especially like maybe in the last 7 or 8 years or so. And it was eventually sort of wound down. And I don't think Spanfeller cares enough because I don't think his job is to produce quality content. I think his job is to produce SEO content. So at the end of the day, if you can just, if you can get out of this lawsuit, spending the least amount of money possible and keeping Kotaku some kind of SEO slop house, that's what Geo Media would do, because they don't actually care about the content of the website. What they care about is SEO bullshit, right? And that's what Jim Spanfelder has done with all the sites. So yeah, I think that's important to point out as well. I will say this about Kotick, just I guess for the record, if Kotick knew nothing about what was going on at Activision Blizzard, he would still suck. Because I think he has hurt the games industry, he hurt Activision, and his legacy will be of someone who was one of the worst video game executives of all time. I don't think there's too many. I don't think that's inarguable. He helped start Pandemic, so good for that. Other than that, milking Call of Duty, milking Guitar Hero, a bunch of other stuff. One of the spearheads into turning the industry into live service economies. And to spearheading the live service economy revolution, which sucks and has not made better video games nor a better video game industry. So, even if he has done nothing morally wrong, what he has done is hurt the industry hurt video games as a form of entertainment and art. So is that worse than immorality? No, but it does suck. And I think he should close his mouth and stop talking and go do whatever it is that billionaires do when they're not I don't know, like
hunt the deadliest game.
Go on an island where you hunt orphans down or whatever it is that billionaires
Allegedly.
do, and just shut your mouth and do that, because you're not doing anything good for the world. Stop talking on podcasts, stop talking about John Riccatello, and just go the hell away. So there. Now I'm just frustrated. Is there anything you would like to say about this?
Kotick is to you as the Sex Pistols are to me.
You don't like the Sex Pistols?
They irreparably damaged the public perception of punk.
How so?
Everything you think, like when people like think of punk, they think of like untalented musicians, people just being loud and noisy. That's just the Sex Pistols.
I don't think that at all.
That's the wide public perception of punk.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's dumb. I love punk. I mean, I love the Sex Pistols. God Save the Queen, a fascist regime. Like, come on.
They irreparably damaged punk.
Oh, all right. Yeah. Well, I don't have the same kind of, I don't know, wider knowledge of punk music. But I've always been curious if they didn't make people's idea of punk more narrow. Because like the Ramones are punk, and the Ramones are kind of closer to
pop.
Yeah, kind of like the Clash, like there's kind of
the Clash are also punk.
Yeah, there's like but the Clash are also like further away from punk than the Ramones are. Yeah. At least in aesthetic, like at least in the sound of the music itself. I don't know about like, because I guess you could categorize content. I don't know, like content as punk maybe. Is punk just the sound of the guitars, or is it sometimes the attitude and the lyrics?
If you've ever listened to the singer-songwriter Woody Guthrie, that's punk.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's an interesting way to look at it. Although I guess if we're talking about music, like the definition, what is the definition of a genre? Is it the sound itself, right?
Well, punk is an anti-authoritarian movement.
Yeah. So something can have punk elements, but it may not be. Like CCR was, Fortunate Son was it was anti-war, and I think anti-war is anti-authoritarian or anti-authority. But like I wouldn't. But CCR is classic rock, folk rock, whatever. So that's an interesting conversation. I'm sure there are probably like music study majors out there that would want to punch me in the face because I'm talking about something I don't know about. But I don't know. That's
why I oughta.
But that's an interesting conversation. I don't think are the Sex Pistols like a band casual people like know about?
So it's I don't want to say a little bit more sinister than that, but they had a very specific image, and that image is what people think about when they think punk.
And they sort of started that image.
Yeah. Well, they were the most famous.
Okay.
And punk is more than just that.
Sure.
And that's what people think punk is.
Yeah. Yeah. There's also like the Germs.
The Descendants.
Sure. Yeah. I don't know as many.
You could go, even as far as like going to like the Slackers and pushing into the second wave ska movement where where Jamaican immigrants to the UK started working, like musicians started working with punk bands and created the two-tone movement, which was black and white musicians working together, musically fighting their mutual oppressor, which was the British government.
Yeah, as always.
Yeah.
Not anymore. Now it's just the Americans, baby. Hell yeah. We're the empire for now. No, that is an interesting discussion. I don't know why we're talking about this. This is a video game podcast. Fuck Bobby Kotick. You've been a detrimental force in the games industry.
Allegedly.
No, you just have.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Did he know what was going on in Activision Blizzard? I don't know. Maybe. Let's say no. He still sucks. So it's just like, to me, it's that simple. Get off podcasts, Bobby. Go do whatever it is you do. Buying priceless art and putting it in a fucking safe somewhere so no one else can see it but you. Okay. Sorry. I don't know why I thought you had a thing to play. Okay. A quick update on the SAG-AFTRA strike. So Ethan Gotch at Kotaku wrote a piece. I thought it would be good to go over it. According to Gotch, a major sticking point in the current negotiations is the use of digital replicas, which could be used to replace game actors in the future, even during future strikes. SAG-AFTRA chief negotiator Duncan Crabtree Ireland and negotiating chair Sarah Elmley wrote a message to SAG-AFTRA members saying, quote, "They want to use all past performers and any performance they can source from outside the contract without any of the protections being bargained at all. You could be told nothing about your replica being used, offer nothing in the way of payment, and you could do nothing about it. They want to be able to make your replica continue to work as you during a future strike, whether you like it or not. And once you've given your specific consent for how your replica can be used, they refuse to tell you what they actually did with it." Another issue is that companies want to create digital replicas using in-game performances from prior to the contract, as well as any publicly available data like interviews on YouTube or what have you, which does seem pretty dystopian. I was going to record it, and we don't have to put it in the show. We don't have to put the audio in. I think we'll just put it in the description. Yeah, but Ashley Birch, very famous actress, plays Aloy, numerous other characters. She posted a long sort of statement on TikTok today, and yeah, kind of seemed dismayed at the whole situation, which is too bad. But AI protections are extremely important. I don't know. People should be paid for their work, and people should be consented for their work to be used. And also, I think it's like, I don't know, there's also this sticking point where it's like, I don't remember the details off the top of my head, but you know, if your motion capture doesn't reflect your face, just your movements, that is something that wouldn't be covered, right? And that's annoying to me because it's like, it's still your work, it's still your body moving. So it's like, if it's used again, why can't you get paid for that? I feel like that's the right way to do things, because you were part of making that. It was literally your body. So I don't know. I guess I'm saying that because a lot of the conversation, rightfully so, is about identifying things, right? Voices, faces, whatnot. But there's also the, I think, more sinister side where it's like, what about motion capture? In motion capture, you don't always see a person's face. There's not always something identifying, in a motion capture performance. But that doesn't mean that person shouldn't be credited, or they shouldn't have some kind of control over how their work is used and in what projects it's used and in what capacity, et cetera, And it's annoying that I don't know, it's this technology that we still, this is so annoying, that we still don't really know how it's going to work or how well it's going to work. And at the same time, we're going through this AI boom where investors, these brainless ghouls that just give money whenever there's trends to give money to, don't know what to invest in. So now companies just have to come up with reasons for their AI thing to work so that investors give them money, right? So fueling so much of this is just this empty gold rush that that their goal is to eventually cash out of. That's really annoying because it's affecting video games now, among other things. And none of it is like an actual, I think, legitimate belief in new technologies or anything outside the realm of this could make things for us cheaper. This can make labor cheaper for us, which is fucking annoying. And yeah, I don't know. It is dismaying. And like I don't think I have to say that actors are important in games. I don't know. I feel like if you play video games and you care about any writing or any acting or any voice acting, this should be something that you side with the actors and SAG-AFTRA on. Because the people on the other side would be fine if every game was just Candy Crush, right? And even Candy Crush has a place in our world, sure. But yeah, I think the executives and the people in the suits and the C-suite executives on the other side would be fine with just every game being Candy Crush or Clash of Clans instead of things like Alan Wake or Kingdom Come Deliverance or what have you, right? And a part of what makes games better is performances. And those performances have been emphasized over the past few years as games have gotten better with their writing, as the technology has gotten better. You know, I think about games like Alan Wake 2 and how the performances really carried Alan Wake 2. Just across the board, everybody in that game was just stellar. Baldur's Gate 3 is the same way. There wasn't a single role in Baldur's Gate 3 that fell flat. There were roles that weren't as written well, but from the way the actors read the lines and stuff like that, it was just phenomenal. So it's like all those people deserve to be protected, and so do the developers. So it's hard for me to understand why. Well, I do understand why. It's greed. I'm assuming it's just greed. I guess it's just frustrating. Yeah. Do you have anything you like?
Burn it down. All AI.
All AI.
Get rid of it.
Okay, Ed Zitron. No, sorry. was that a weird reference? Do you read Ed Zitron?
No.
He's a big generative AI critic.
Oh.
He writes like 6.5 hour long essays every week.
I was leading more.
No. Bleep that. No, yeah. So I don't know what else to say about this. It sucks to see. I don't know. I'll repeat myself one time. If you care about the art form and the medium, this is something that should be important. Because actors are important to the art form and the medium, and they deserve to be protected. I don't know. I'm just repeating myself now. So yeah, okay. Ready to move on here. An Oblivion remake is somewhere. So an Oblivion remake, remaster has been rumored for a while. There was some info about it when court docs released from Microsoft's Bethesda acquisition. That was back in 2021 or 22, something like that. Kotaku confirmed its existence in January. Twitter user and leaker Nate the Hate reported that the game would be announced earlier, either sometime in March or April. Video Game Chronicle corroborated this with their sources and say that Oblivion has been fully remade with Unreal Engine 5, which is interesting. The studio working on the remake is Virtuous, who is a AAA support studio that was founded in 2004. Connor, you are recusing yourself from this conversation for a couple different reasons. But what I will say is that this is fascinating to me because Oblivion, I think, was a better RPG than Skyrim.
Yeah.
You can share your opinions on Oblivion. Correct.
Well, okay, so like the differences between Oblivion and Skyrim.
Sure.
Oblivion is more RPG. Skyrim is action RPG.
Yeah, I would agree.
That's not to say that action RPGs are bad. I feel that like as for another action RPG, as the Mass Effect series progressed, action RPG was the right way to go because it was a third-person shooter.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, having that really granular RPG system in the first Mass Effect was good because it was, an actual RPG at the time. But moving away from that was a good divergence. I do think that if we're just going on a base RPG like comparison, Oblivion blows Skyrim out of the water because there's more to it than number go up.
Yeah, and that's another one where and I think a lot of people would argue that Morrowind is better than Oblivion.
Yeah,
that the Elder Scrolls games have kind of regressed,
peaked at Daggerfall.
And the Elder Scrolls games have kind of regressed into being more actiony. Now, of course, the problem is the last Elder Scrolls game came out more than 10 years ago, and the next one is not coming out for another 10 years.
At least.
Yeah, so we're not really sure like how the series is going to progress from here. But I think why that's interesting is I'm curious if a remake exists, and if it is a remake and not like a remaster, would that structure hold up today where, how your character levels up? You have to go to bed to level up.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the more strenuous RPG mechanics. Like, I wonder if those things
I think the more granular, like, I guess a way to put it would be more hardcore style RPG. It may not be, a summer blockbuster game, but it will still do well.
I think it would. I think it would hold up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think Kingdom Come Deliverance, the popularity and how well KCD2 has done this year, I think is an example of this. Because KCD2...
It's not as intense. You don't need to go to sleep to level up, but there's other things you have to do in Kingdom Come Deliverance that you don't have to do in Oblivion.
It's got the depth of like a simulator, right?
Yeah.
Where you have to actually mix your potions and stuff like that.
Eat and sleep.
Eat and sleep. You basically have to do everything. And of course, as I told you, it's like, a cobbler, he's on the other side of the country. You got to go over there. You need your helmet fixed. You can't go to the blacksmith. You have to go to the helmet man.
Armor smith.
Yeah, an armor smith. No, I think the blacksmith actually does.
Yeah, blacksmith does armory and the swordsmith does swords.
No, the blacksmith in KCD2 does both, thankfully. Oh. But it would be funny.
Well, in Kingdom Come Deliverance, the first one, one of the towns has a blacksmith and a swordsmith, and you can only sell swords and weapons to the swordsmith, and you can only sell armor to the blacksmith.
That's funny. I don't remember that at all. But I think the point I'm trying to make here is that that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 has been successful, widely successful.
Yeah,
which I think is a good thing. But it also, again, it proves a theory that I have, which is you don't need to make like checkmarky, market safe games to have a successful game.
And I mean, and to go a level deeper with like going into RPG, Baldur's Gate 3 did amazing, and it is a TTRPG done digitally.
Yeah, it is it's a CRPG. It's like an old school CRPG. And old school CRPGs, the idea was we're going to take the tabletop experience and we're going to bring it to a PC as accurately as possible. And so that's what Baldur's Gate 3 did. And I made a video about this, arguing this exact fact, because I think with Baldur's Gate 3, people got caught up with the discussion, like, somebody at IGN was like, AAA developers better watch out, and everyone made fun of them. But like, I think what people I think missed was the demand. Baldur's Gate 3 was a tabletop RPG. It had some other elements that made it successful, the romances and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I think it proved that people who may not normally play that kind of genre will play it. That people are more willing, that you don't need to give people market safe.
Your wife.
Yes. Has played it more than I have.
Who has, like, how many RPGs, how many CRPGs did you play before Baldur's Gate?
One.
Oh.
No, none, actually. Oh, no. Well, she played action RPGs, Diablo, so.
Okay, but I'm talking like...
Yeah, CRPG.
Baldur's Gate CRPGs.
None. It was just Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
But even that genre and how... And you could turn the difficulty down and make it easier. But even then, there's still a lot of stuff to think about. And even if you've never played a CRPG, Baldur's Gate 3 on easy...
It just dumps you in.
There's still... And you still have to, like, manage your stats and learn all this stuff. So even then, even if it's on easy, you still have to manage your stats and your equipment and all that. So the RPG mechanics are still there.
And it doesn't necessarily guide you through any of, like, the character development.
Yeah, or through the story. It's, Larian is infamous for allowing you to like do whatever the hell it is you want to do and completing, getting past obstacles however you want to get past.
In the most unique ways possible.
Exactly. So it's like you can make a game as open-ended as that, and there's a market for it. So back to the Oblivion point, I think it would hold up today.
Absolutely.
If you reworked the combat, stuff like that. Because obviously the original, if you go and play a vanilla Oblivion right now, it's like it's an atrocity.
It's fantastic.
It's game of the year still.
Yeah.
But if you cleaned a lot of that up, the underlying mechanics, the different stats, you jump a bunch, your athletic goes up, whatever. Those things I think could still translate fairly well to a modern context.
Crouch and just lock your controller forward going into a wall and then just power level your stealth.
Oh man, did I ever tell you how I got in Skyrim, how I upgraded my I don't remember what spell it was, or what class of magic it is, but how I got to level 80 in Skyrim.
No.
So I had played for
I don't think so, at least.
I played for a long time, and I wasn't at level 80, and this was 2015, probably 2016. Okay. So it was like I had played, yes, but I had played Skyrim for a long time, I jumped back into it for years and years and years, playing the same character, going through everything, going through all the DLC stuff. And eventually I got to the point, and it got to a point where I was modding the shit out of it and stuff. And then eventually it's like, okay, I just need to it's time to put it to bed. It's time to stop playing Skyrim for good. So I was like, last thing, Ebony Warrior. That's the last thing I got to do. So it was like, okay, how am I going to get to level 80? It was far away. So it's like, okay, I got to do this somehow. Well, so my build in Skyrim, I had the Magicka cloak poncho thing that like upped my Magicka regeneration by like 100%. I had the Dragon Priest, which upped my Magicka regeneration by like 100%. So my Magicka regeneration was just insane. Like it was really quick. And that's basically how I played Skyrim. I was pure magic. But what I did, levitation in Skyrim takes a ton of Magicka. And if you continuously use it, it ups your like restoration or whatever. It's very similar to making iron daggers where you can power level yourself that way. So what I did was I cast levitation on like an apple or something and prop something on my phone or on my mouse to have the buttons pressed down, and I just walked away and I had my character basically casting levitation automatically, and my Magicka regeneration happened so quickly that like I could cast it for longer periods than probably your average like level 75 character or whatever. So that's what I did. That's how I cheesed my way to level 80. And then my fight against the Ebony Warrior was not epic because I just fireballed and stunned him the whole time, and it just wasn't an epic battle, and it kind of made me feel bad, but still a lot of fun though. So yeah. Anyway, I don't know why I was telling that story.
Because I brought up power leveling stealth by rubber banding your left thumbstick forward.
Do you remember when Skyrim first came out? You could put buckets on people's head and sneak by. That was so great. I did that when Skyrim first came out. I actually did that right around when I first played it. Oh, that was so magical. Oh man, now I feel nostalgic. My Skyrim character, I started on 360 and then I transferred my save to PC. I was able to do that. So I played same character, 2 platforms, probably, I don't know, tons of hours, crap ton of mods. I did all the things. I was a werewolf, I fought with vampires, I killed all the dragons, killed all the dragon priests, just did everything at the end, but did you have one Skyrim character or just a bunch?
Just a bunch.
Just a bunch, yeah.
Yeah.
Were you someone that was ever able to do like, okay, I'm going to do a 2-handed axe guy and that's it? And then you were able to like withstand the temptation of becoming a stealth archer? Stealth archer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, yeah. Because I'm pretty sure I was Magicka guy, but I was also a stealth archer because, it's impossible not to be.
I did have like one playthrough I was like, I got to not do stealth archer. So I did just do a 2-handed fighter.
Nice. Okay. It would be cool to go back and try that. I think I saw a mod, PC Gamer Story, like last year about a mod where if you go into stealth, it just kills you to stop you from doing stealth archer. It's like something like if you go into stealth and take out a bow, you just get killed right there. So it's like you can't do it. Maybe I should download that. Okay, is there anything else we should talk about before we get out of here?
I don't think so.
Okay. Follow us, youtube.com/gaming discourse, patreon.com/the gaming discourse, God Save the Queen, fascist regime.
Bye.